6 parties have requested the intervention of the Chief Justice to facilitate talks on a government of national unity amongst political parties that are represented in Parliament. The parties say the purpose of this meeting will be to engage in constructive dialogue on the proposed unity government for the next 5 years.
Let us have the Chief Justice, whether he chooses a retired judge to convene the meeting or the dialogue amongst political parties, so that we put forward to seek what will be the government of national unity look like, what would be a parliament look like, what would be the role of the opposition look like in the 7th parliament, given the fact that there's no outright winner. So that is a spirit that you have, because there is no interference of any state apparatus or anything in this matter, but it's for us to be able to convene this particular meeting and get political parties into one space, all stakeholders into one space, putting their suggestions and proposals into this particular type of governance and the parliament going forward.
One expert believes that inasmuch as the GNU is meant to bring as many parties as possible, the party with majority votes is not compelled to talk to everyone.
To then ask the Chief Justice to bring in a judge to oversee these talks, for me, is a non-starter, because the Constitution says that if there is no outright winner, then the parties that have seats in the National Assembly have to find each other. The Constitution doesn't say that you must go to the court and then seek their intervention, because we have not even tried. But then they do have a point. As long as we have seats in the National Assembly, you are entitled to be considered. By the way, it's not compulsory. The party with the majority of seats may decide to include you or to exclude you without breaking any law.
Whilst the veteran politician who is part of the government of national unity, formed in 1994, says it could work again, but the interests of the electorate must prevail.
Personally, I would have thought that, we should have continued, and we could have even probably proceeded with that arrangement after the 5 years on a voluntary basis. I think that was very much the expectation of many South Africans at the time. So the shortcomings that were hinted at as a part of the decision to withdraw, in my view, was not sufficient and strong enough to pull out. I think the positive lesson that we had from that is that we had an arrangement between the ANC and the National Party and the IFP, who were part of that government, that actually worked quite well. I can recall how it was possible for me, as the Minister of Constitutional Affairs in that government, to engage with President Mandela on more than one occasion to seek his guidance and actually helping me to find the best solutions in implementing the Constitution, which was part of my job at that point of time. So I think that the lesson that we can learn is it is possible to form a consensus government, which is essentially a government of national unity. Of course, there are certain things that you don't agree on. When I say consensus government, it doesn't mean you agree on 100% everything amongst yourselves as different parties. There are diverse opinions, and I think one has to respect that, and you must make space for that. Yes. But at the same time, the national interest prevails, and that should be taking the highest priority.
Meanwhile, the DA's federal executive is meeting this weekend and will report back to its federal council, whilst the IFP's coalition task team is also expected to brief its NEC on Monday. Natasha Piri, SABC News, Johannesburg.